Sean Haney here with RealAgriculture.com, and right now I am joined by the Minister of Job Skills, Training and Labour with the Alberta Government, Minister Lori Sigurdson from Edmonton. How are you doing today, Minister?
Very well, thank you.
Good. Okay, well, let's get into it. Bill 6. It is caused quite an emotional response from parts of the farming community. Did you expect this much emotional response?
Well, I mean, we know that, family farms are, farmers and ranchers are passionate about the work they do, and we know that they're essential to Alberta, and we're very happy to hear from farmers about any of their concerns, because this bill is really about making it work for farmers and ranchers and the industry in general, and so that's why it's so important for us to listen to the farmers and consult with them.
Okay, so in a part of that process, there is a survey that is out there. The other part is the town halls that are going on across the province, and the first one is today in Grande Prairie. Have you had any word back from members of the government that were there?
I haven't heard back yet from them, but you're right. We do have an online survey that people can access through work.alberta.ca, so we welcome feedback from Albertans regarding that. And we have 9 consultation locations across the province, and we did expand an earlier set of consultations because of the great interest in this topic. So we're very pleased to add additional sessions. So because it's really significant that we hear from the farm and ranch sector. Yeah,
and so we collected some questions from our audience via Twitter. And one of the questions about the Grande Prairie meeting today is, why no elected officials at the meeting?
Well, we're wanting to make sure that farmers and ranchers are with ministry staff and also with the consultants who are putting together this part for us. Myself, for example, I'm in session right now, so I have legislative responsibilities and I can't attend because of that. So we're sort of doing 2 things at once, and so I'm in the legislative session currently, and then the workers from the ministry are there along with the consultants to support that process.
So are you going to yourself as the minister of this department that is putting out this bill? Are you going to be at any of the town halls?
That's not the way it's been set up at this point, but I just want you to know that myself and Minister Collier have been meeting with industry leaders since our election 6 months ago, and really have heard a lot from them, and there has been consultation even previous to our government being elected. So I know that the ministry staff have done a significant amount of work, and will continue to listen to the concerns. So there already has been a fair bit of listening, and we're happy to do more.
Yeah, one of the complicating or complex things about agriculture is that it is so diverse. It is a big monster. We have everything from farms with relatively a large amount of employees down to a single person operation, and across dairy, livestock, cash crops, you name it. It covers a wide gamut. One of the things that's stirring a lot of talk within the farming community is, does this actually hurt small farms, which are kind of the farms the NDP talked about in its election campaign were very, very important to it. Do you think this hurts small farms?
Well, we're creating the legislation right now, so it's not like we have it's black and white or anything. These consultations are so important to us, and like you said, Sean, it's very much about the uniqueness and the nuances of the industry, and so we want to make sure we're hearing them. It's not, the legislation hasn't been written yet, right? We're developing it. It has been introduced in the legislature, but I just want to make clear that the employment standards and the labor relations piece won't be proclaimed until the spring of 2016. And so that gives us additional time to make sure that we're appreciating and understanding all the nuances within the farm and ranch sector. And then the technical rules for occupational health and safety, those are not going to be complete until 2017, a full year from now.
Right.
So there's a lot of work that we still need to do. That's why these consultations are so big. So I think some people may have a little bit of a misperception that we've introduced the bill and it's just going to be passed and they can't have any input. That's not true at all. We have introduced it in the legislature, but as I said, passage of it is coming, and that will give us time to hear from people.
So just 'cause there's a lot of confusion around this part. Will it be? Is it going to be law by January 1st?
Well, if I can a little bit, I'm going to explain a bit of the complexity of the bill, and it is a complex bill. I just want to identify that so I can appreciate there is some confusion. It's an omnibus bill, so that means that it's more than one piece of legislation. There's 4 pieces of legislation. There's workers' compensation, there's occupational health and safety, there's employment standards, and there's labor relations. So as of January 1st, 2016, workers' compensation is mandatory, as well as Occupational Health and Safety Act, the exemptions. Right now we have no authority, the occupational health and safety officers, if there's a fatality or a serious injury on the farm, we have no authority to go on them. But now, as of January 1st, we will have that authority. And then the other 2 pieces, as I spoke of earlier, won't be proclaimed until the spring of 2016. So all the exemption does, and I may be saying all isn't quite the right way to say it, but what it does is it lifts the exemption for our occupational health and safety officers so that if there is a fatality, remember this bill is about safety, if there's a fatality, if there's a serious injury, we have, occupational health and safety officers have access to that farm or ranch. And we can go in and see what we can do to prevent this kind of injury or fatality in the future. We very much want to work with it in an educational way. We'll be going gradually. Of course, it's brand new for the farm and ranch industry, and we're not going to expect them to be compliant right away. It's something that we're going to be, the officers are going to be working with in a very educational way. So, that's hopefully explaining a bit about how it's going to come into, compliance.
Yeah, I think, you've got a community of people here that aren't accustomed or aren't used to working in an environment where OH&S has been involved. And so I think there's a somewhat of a fear that, April 1st, I'm going to be out trying to go planting my crop, and I may be caught not wearing a safety vest or a hard hat, and you're going to shut my tractor down for the day.
And I guess we just want to quell, those are some of the, I think, myths out there. I mean, that's not going to happen. I mean, we're only going to be, if there's a serious injury or fatality, that's when we'll be on those farms. Over time, as we understand, as we create those rules together, taking into consideration the specific needs of your industry, like we know that, harvest, you're working long hours during those times. So we want to make sure that any kind of legislation respects that and doesn't create difficulty, or calving. If it's calving season, I mean, that's not from 9 to 5.
Yeah.
So they're all things that we absolutely are talking with, farm and ranch owners about, with industry leaders, and we want to make sure that it works for your sector. And that's very important to us. We want to work hand in hand with you. So it's very much working gradually to make sure that people understand what it's about. We are using an educational model, and that many of the umbrella organizations for the farm and ranch sector have been very helpful to us thus far and are very keen to work with their members to support them to understand expectations and how it will impact them. So I think it's, unfortunately, people are thinking it's going to be like all of a sudden black and white, and it's really much more of a gradual process.
Yeah, I think you already hit on the seeding and harvest and calving time. I think that is one of the main concerns as far as an extension of the hours of an allowable workday. The other question that keeps on coming forward from farmers is, why does the WCB component need to be mandatory? I already offer protection to my employees, and it's actually better than what WCB covers. Why do I need to switch? That's a common question. And the other one that keeps on coming up, and I know this has sort of been put to rest in some circles, but is the impact on things like 4-H and the involvement of youth on the farm. What do you have to say about the youth component?
Okay, I can talk about that part first if you like, and certainly this isn't going to, prohibit kids from doing their chores on the farm, being part of 4-H. There's no problems with that. This is really about safety. It's just about making sure that farms and ranches are safe for Albertans. It helps us be in compliance with all other workplaces in Alberta, and this brings us onto the par with all the other provinces in Canada also. So it's really just about making sure that farm and ranch workers are safe. And of course, there's a complication because people live on their farms and they're with their families. But certainly, kids will be picking rocks and doing whatever they do in terms of chores, and that won't be stopped. That's not a concern.
So we're going to go through the town halls. We have the survey. Are you going to be sitting down again with, as you said you have in the past, with some of the grower commissions and the livestock groups, and sort of have another round of consultation with them?
Well, certainly myself and my ministry staff are wanting to make sure that we capture all of the concerns or the specifics that will impact industry, and we want to make it work. So this is going to be ongoing. So I was asked earlier today if, beyond the consultations already scheduled, will we have more in January if need be? And I said yes. We absolutely want to. And this isn't something that, as I said, the technical rules won't be complete until 2017. So we still have a significant amount of time that we'll be continuing to work and listen and sit down with industry leaders, farmers and ranchers, to make sure that we're getting it right.
Well, you know what? I really want to thank you for joining me today. Hopefully this won't be our last chat. We'll be able to talk through the implementation and the discussion around this bill. And hopefully we can talk again soon. Thank you very much.
Okay.